Hey sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Nanyacim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you get notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you so much. And I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for always coming back to watch my videos. Yo, you all are awesome. So today I got something I really do want us to talk about, and I definitely would like you to, I would like to know what you all thinking in the comment section. And it's actually about our Latinos stroke Hispanic who are racially white supposed to call themselves brown. Yeah, we are going to get into the videos. Do not go away. Just stay glued to your screen. Let's talk about it.
Okay, this is a question for my Hispanic community and the Latino community in general, okay? So growing up in Houston, Texas, I was always surrounded by a lot of Mexican people. And I always thought it made sense that they called themselves brown because like they looked like me. Like a lot of times Hispanic people and South Asian people look the exact same in different fonts, like I swear, okay? But also growing up, my best friends have always been usually Mexican women. Like my best friend, Brianna, we got along so well because there was so much similarity between the way Mexican culture is and Bengali culture is. Brianna was one of my only other friends with kind of stricter parents or like kind of had gender roles in her household. She was one of my only other friends that lived a multi-generational home like I did. And Brianna was what they would call morena. So she had my colored skin, maybe even darker than me, and like black hair and stuff, and darker, more indigenous features. So to me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you're brown. You're like me, yeah. But then once I started getting to high school and college, I kept meeting Hispanic and Latino people that were white, like blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and they would also call themselves brown because they were Hispanic. And I would sometimes get really angry about that because I'm like, you can't call yourself brown. Like, you don't go through the same stuff actual brown people go through. If you present as white, you just don't. People don't look at you in a store and think you're gonna steal something. Or people don't constantly openly comment on your skin color or think things about you by looking at you. They don't have any preconceived notions about you by looking at you the same way they would about a more brown Hispanic person or a like person with brown skin, like a South Asian like me. So I always got kind of confused by them claiming the word brown. I just wanted to know your guys' take on it. I of course know nationality, ethnicity, and stuff have a lot to do with race. But in America, the way you're treated is highly tied to as what race you present. And it's interesting to see these people call themselves brown, especially since they have almost, like most of them have almost 100% European ancestry because like all of their ancestors were from Europe and then just like came to Mexico to do stuff. So I just wanted to hear from the Latino community, Hispanic community about what the rules are about calling yourself brown and if you have to go through the same struggles as other people in like the Latino community have to go through to call yourself brown or not. Just wondering.
All right, so we definitely will get into the stitches and see what people got to tell her. All right, so
Haired, blue-eyed, and they would also call themselves brown.
Okay, coming from someone who was born and raised in Latin America, I'm from Brazil. People who are white but call themselves brown just because they're Hispanic or Latin, they're just wrong. They're not brown. Because Hispanic is not a race. Hispanic is an ethnicity. It means that you are from a Spanish-speaking country in Latin America. So where I'm from, we don't consider people from Spain to be Hispanic because Spain is in Europe and not in Latin America. But in the US, people consider them to be Hispanic because they speak Spanish. So that was a total shock for me. I moved to the US 1 year ago for college. But yeah, so if you're Hispanic and you're brown, your race is not Hispanic. It's probably Native American. So, but yeah, if you're from Latin America, especially Brazil, like it's an extremely diverse country, and you can be black, you can be white, you can be indigenous and Asian and mixed and anything. So yeah, that's your race, but then your ethnicity is Latin, because in Brazil we speak Portuguese and not Spanish, so you wouldn't be Hispanic. But in the US, I feel like many people want to hold on to their ancestry and their cultures. So I feel like people don't want to say that they're just American. They really want to connect to their cultures. For example, if their grandparents are from Latin America, and I ask someone where they're from, they're gonna say, oh, my family is from Colombia, my family is from Peru, something like that. They won't say like, oh, I'm from like Denver, I'm from New York. I feel like in Latin America that doesn't really happen. Nobody is gonna tell you where their family immigrated to Brazil from. They're just gonna tell you the city that they're from. So yeah, I understand though, wanting to hold on to that culture and wanting to connect to Hispanic or Latin culture, but calling yourself brown just because you're Hispanic or Latin doesn't make any sense, because those are not races. But xenophobia, on the other hand, you can definitely experience. Like, for me, if I'm speaking Portuguese to my family in the US, even though they don't live here, they live in Brazil, they have visited me a couple of times, and if we're speaking Portuguese at the supermarket, people know that it's a language from South America, and they look at us weird. And people also have weird questions for me because I'm from Brazil, but that's not racism because I'm white. It's xenophobia.
My Hispanic community and the Latino community.
Long story short, no, I don't refer to myself as a person of color, and here is why. Quick background, my dad is of Mexican descent, so Spanish ancestry and Mexican indigenous ancestry. My mom, her dad was white, and her mother, my maternal grandmother, was Mexican, / Mexican indigenous as well. So because of the Spanish ancestry and because of having my grandfather as white, I present as white to a lot of people. Do I feel white? No, I don't. I never have. I feel very connected to my culture, and I was raised in a Mexican family. I don't feel white. That being said, I present as white, and how people perceive me is white. And so that means, or most people at least, and so that means I, by default, benefit from white privilege. My cousins, for example, who have beautiful brown skin, they experience things very differently than how I experience things based off of how they are perceived. So that being said, if there is a conversation specifically for people of color, I will graciously bow out of that conversation. I do not want to take up space because I will not have the same experiences that they have had growing up. But having said that, I am a very proud Chicana. I am proud of my heritage. I am proud of my Mexican indigenous roots, and I will scream it from the rooftops, but at the end of the day, no, I'm not going to take up space when people of color are sharing their experiences. Thank you.
A question.
So in another video, I was talking about how I don't consider myself brown anymore, and someone commented, "Sir, you are brown." I'm not, and that's okay. You see 7-year-old Anthony, 12 years old, maybe 8, I don't know. That little boy was brown, but guess what? I'm an adult now. I don't look like that anymore. There are so many white and non-white light-skinned Latinos who benefit so much from colorism and don't realize it. So when you try and put the term brown on them, when they're not in reality brown anymore or not brown at all, they think they have a pass. Mind you, summer just ended, so I'm only getting paler.
Actually, no, not all Latinos are brown, or not all of us are indigenous. Let me show you. Latino, Latina, Latina, also Latina. Now, I know a lot of us mestizo Latinos, we have indigenous backgrounds. I'm not denying that at all. However, y'all will claim indigenous identities but yet have no idea what that's like, don't even care to learn about it again, don't even practice it, or don't even have the same struggles of what indigenous people are going through back in your home countries. And if you bothered to read through the comments or even listen to indigenous creators, you would know that they don't like the blood quantum rule, yet y'all keep doing it. But I don't know, y'all, if you want to call yourselves brown, so be it. Go ahead. However, if you want to make a video to Beyonce's Brown Skin Girl or a song to like Las Morenitas, I don't know the song name, but you guys know what I'm talking about, and people cyberbully you because you're clearly not Morenita and you have to deactivate your account, now you're crying in your room, you're all alone, you're like, oh my god, don't say I told you so.
Question for my Hispanic community and the Latino community.
I identify with the term trigueña, which is used in Cuba and a few other Latin American countries, but I know that's not in all. And basically, in a sense, what it means is wheat colored, because it comes from trigo, which is basically just, you know, like olive toned, yellow toned skin that tans for the most part. The term really doesn't exist in America, because I feel like right now, if I was to go ahead and say I'm brown, it might spark up some very interesting arguments between people who think I am and people who think I'm not. If I still looked like this, and yes, I've had acne since I was a child, there it's like 100% yes, I'm brown, but I have not seen the sunlight in like 6 years. I've never had anyone in any place or school I've been to be confused that I'm Latina, other than a few people that are like, what, I thought you were like South or West Asian, because they didn't know my name.
All right, I think let me know what you all think about this in the comment section, and this is where we're gonna draw the curtain for today. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye for now.